Hello, this is Telomere and welcome to another repair video. In this video, we are looking at an iPhone 11 and it's got a bit of an issue with charging. So we're going to take a gander into it and see what's going on. So what do we want to do first? Well, I got my pile of giblets for testing. And where's the last one? Before anything else, let's immediately test the TriStar chip. And also try to turn it on, come to think of it. That's not a bad idea. I know for sure that this is not turning on. It is an issue with charging. So just showing it right off the bat, you plug it in, doesn't do anything. Okay, next. Plugging it into here. Once again, what do we got? Oh, interesting. It does charge, but it doesn't turn on. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's showing at about 500 milliamps. Still nothing on screen though. The fact that it's just drawing just perpetually. Oh, it shot up to 800. That's actually a relatively, it's not a great charge, but around 800, almost 900 milliamps is a very normal charge. Plug this little guy in, the TriStar chip. I'm going to assume that this is going to pass. There's no reason for it not to. There we go, it passed. I'm not going further than that. No point. Really, even at this point, I don't think there's a point to this. If, in the first place, I mean, if it's charging, but you don't see anything on screen, it usually means, at least, if nothing else, there's a possibility that there's an issue with the screen. Yeah, we're seeing a very standard pinout right there. I think everything looks normal. So what I'd like to do, and you might be hearing it crackling in the background, because no matter what, I was expecting that I was going to do this, is I'm going to take the screen out, which means I got to put this on the heating mat. Well, that should be nice and warm now. I'm not going to show too much about this bit here. It's very standard for getting into this. You use your suction cup, you pump it out using a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, 99.9%, and you're good to go. Actually, that came out pretty quick. Look at that. That was super fast. So what do we have here? Just a really cursory search. I am just taking a look around at seeing if anything looks odd. So far, I don't see any straight up indicators of water damage. Right here, I don't know if you guys can see it. It's really hard to see, even on this angle. Right there is a water indicator sticker, and it is white. So that's really good to see. Now there's two things I want to do. I don't think there's any issues with the battery, but I might try just sticking in another battery to see how it reacts. I should be taking this panel out first, this shield first. Let's immediately disconnect the battery, then we can disconnect the screen. I usually do this with my nail or a thin pair of tweezers. If you're a little bit concerned, these little guys work decently well for pulling up those little FPC connectors. You just get in there and then you lift, and here we go. The screen itself looks like it's in pretty good shape. I also don't see any indicators of damage to the display itself. I'm not talking about the glass, I'm talking about the LCD panel that's built into this. Okay, let's grab a replacement screen for testing. Okay, that's all connected. Just try turning the phone on and seeing if we get any image. There should be an Apple logo that appears right in the center of that 11. No, nothing at all. Yeah, we should be getting something on screen. At least a battery symbol, something. And if I'm holding down the power button, like you guys can't see it right now, I've got off screen another amp reader, and it's telling me I'm getting about 450 milliamps. By holding in the power button, I should be seeing it jumping up. And I'm just not seeing that. Should have gotten something by now. Okay, I don't think it's the screen. Also, just a little thought here, I feel like sharing. When it comes to repairs, try to only change one thing at a time. Don't change everything out. Be kind of silly, for example, to change out both the battery and the screen at the same time. Then you don't know if it was the battery or the screen that was the faulty creature that was causing the problems. So this is an aftermarket Ampcentrix battery. I think for the sake of ease, just for getting into this, I'm going to take the battery out. I am making a bit of an assumption here. I really shouldn't immediately go back Because I mean, like, what if it is both the screen and the battery? I'd prefer just to change out the screen for now. Better not to assume that both are dead. Battery is in. Now at this point, if there's no problems, like a lot of times these batteries have a little bit of juice in them, it should turn on. It should do something with this battery. I'm not getting anything. It's so disappointing. Let's try plugging it in again. That's bizarre. I'm not getting any reading off of this battery. It's a little different from last time. Last time I at least got something. This time I'm not getting anything. So I've just switched it back to the original battery just to see if it made any difference. And it's immediately pulling a charge again. I might need to just go search for... Huh, that's different. It went up to 1.2 amps. Well, it's like a very normal charge. It makes me wonder, like, for one, is there a problem with my battery? For two, I wonder if there is an issue with the power button of this phone. Now, there's a thought. I do have a thermal camera here. You can see immediately, I don't know what's going on with my aftermarket battery. It should be working. Like, I've almost never gotten a dead, like, even if I have had a faulty battery, it hasn't prevented it from working, you know? Okay, let's get this thermal camera up and running. There's something I'm seeing right here. Right at the bottom. The charge control board for the battery seems to be a bit on the warm side. That's showing at around 34. Nothing else is warm though. Oh, the charge port's a little warm. But that doesn't make much of a difference. We would have seen something if something was happening. Putting my finger there is just a bad idea because it warms up everything. You see? There, now those are warm. But that's perpetually, that's holding on to the heat. The battery itself doesn't seem to be like particularly warming, doesn't seem like it's warming up. And once again, the aftermarket battery. I must have just had it slightly disconnected. Same result actually too. Very, very stable at around 440 milliamps. So we've eliminated the battery, and I think we've eliminated the screen as well. This is starting to distinctly feel like a short. Because if there's one spot that I'm seeing that's warming up a lot, the circuit board right here. And there's, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm limited when it comes to certain parts of the phones. And if it's a customer's phone, all the more so I'm even more limited. So I'm sure that there's a short somewhere on the motherboard. So I'm seeing heat here, and I'm seeing heat right here. It's not an incredible amount of heat, but it's enough. If I was to disconnect this, over time, this would cool down. So what do you do when you come into a situation like this? Well, the problem with a situation like this is that you can only go in so deep before you got to take the motherboard out, and you need to start desoldering it. And what I'm talking about is, with this particular board, I'm pretty sure, yes, it is. If you look from the side, you can see that there's this copper thing right there. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me see if I can zoom in. This. And the thing is, what I'm talking about is that is what's known as a sandwich board. And a sandwich board is basically literally as it sounds. It's a sandwich. It's exceptional in electronics form. You've got a circuit board here, and you have a circuit board here, and you have a whole bunch of pins that connect them all together, and they're all like this. So you got two boards holding each other together like that. You need to basically put this in a special gimbal. I've seen them. I know what they look like, but I've never gone into one of them, and they are a little bit pricey, like a few $100s pricey. And each one is its own creature. You've got the iPhone 11 set up for a heating mat for that. You've got one or I call it a heating block. There's one also for the iPhone 11 Pro, 11 Pro Max, 12 Pro, 12 Pro Max, etc., etc., going all the way up. So you need one for every single model. And yes, you could do it by hand manually with a heat gun, but it's not an exact science. When you use just a straight up heat gun, you're not really doing it the right way and doing it that way. You're taking a chance. And using that heating block, it takes the chance out. So since this is a customer's phone, and I mean, I can only delve in so deep, and it's in an area that is kind of beyond me, to be honest, this is as far as I'm willing to go. I'm going to throw the battery back in, put the shields back in place, and tell the customer basically that seems to be a short in this particular phone, and that there is no deeper that we can go. So that's all there is to this video, guys. If you like the video, please do leave a like, and if you want to see more of my stuff, subscribe. We'll see you guys all in another video. Bye.